Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Touching the Edge. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Drake, and I am so happy to be here today. I'm happy to be here because I'm growing to understand myself more fully with your support. And I want to suggest that's what emotional mastery is. It's a process. It's not like we ever achieve it. We're always in the process of understanding what it means. And so I want to suggest to you that one of the ways of understanding what emotional mastery is for you is to understand who are your teachers. I want to suggest that you create a mountain of teachers, people that you've known personally and people that you've known from afar. People sometimes who are maybe even characters, fictional characters. Even fictional characters can be teachers. And then also people that are also people who are living or who have lived. And I just want to bring to you some of my teachers today. So here are some of the teachers that have had a major effect in my experience. First off, I'm going to mention, and this is not in any particular order, but these have all had major effects. First off, I want to mention Napoleon Hill, the writer of Think and Grow Rich. You know, Think and Grow Rich is sort of the granddaddy of the self-help books. And really, not just starting with him, it goes all the way back to people like Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so these individuals who really helped me to realize that how we were framing our reality was creating it. We were manifesting what we were focusing on. So Napoleon Hill, and one of the reasons that he stands out is because I came across his book when I was like about 13 years old. And so by blending that and also learning of elements of Buddhist teachings, the first Buddhist book I came across was a book called The Way of Zen by Alan Watts. And so I was coming in contact with these within the first several years of each other. So I'm 61 right now, and when I really got going with all this study, I was probably about 10 or 11 years old. And so these were some of the early books. Second teacher, and I see him as sort of an updated Napoleon Hill, for me, has been Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard has had a tremendous effect in the realization of what I already understood without understanding that I knew it. You know that element when you hear something for the first time, but when you hear it, you realize you already know it? For me, that's profound. It's profound and profound. And that's what I experienced with Neville Goddard when he talked about imagination, realizing that imagination is our manifestation machine. And if we're not in control of our imagination, it's kind of like if you can't control your attention, you're not in charge of yourself. If you can't control your attention and what you focus on, what you imagine, well, then you begin to create the reality that feels really, really bad to you, but somehow you get addicted to it. And so Neville Goddard was a big one for me. Other ones, perhaps my root teacher, Nisargadatta Maharaj. And for me, there's several books by him. The Ultimate Medicine was the first book I discovered. But eventually, I discovered, what would be probably his magnum opus. Is that how you say it? But that book was I Am That. And for me, that was the graduate level. I mean, that began to create my relationship with this experience of being, I am, and realizing how profound it was, how pervasive it was, how the center of all of our realities, all of our conversations are framed around that phrase, I am. And so in doing that, it actually helped me to surrender my relationship to genius and let a little bit of a loosening of my own opinion. And then recognizing how much around the world that these elements came out. All around the world, we see people focusing on that phrase and experience, I am. It's what the teacher Aldous Huxley talked about in the Perennial Philosophy. And so Nisargadatta Maharaj was another one. And by the way, in Christian mysticism as well, people like, many Christian mystics, Meister Eckhart and many others. So continuing, the Buddha, of course, has been a major influence for me. Now, I don't see myself as Buddhist, and yet there has been no philosophy that's influenced me more than various types of Buddhism. Books like the Lotus Sutra, I Am That, Shinryu Suzuki, another great book that he did. So these Buddhist texts really, really begin to influence me and transform me. And the Buddha himself, and for me, realizing again that for me, I really do see us all as that. Each of us is that figure in my perception. So continuing, Bob Marley, of course, Bob Marley has had a huge influence on me. Bob Marley has been an incredible relationship. When he talked in his song, Positive Vibration, we just cannot live in that negative way. Make way for the positive day. Why not help one another along the way? Make it much easier. That and many other of his songs had an incredible influence on my experience. And just a couple more. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Jordan. These two athletes, both of them with incredible confidence, incredible work ethic, incredibly inspirational. I learned from the way that they approached their careers and the discipline that they were dedicated with. And the final one I'm going to bring up today, or maybe two more, Miyamoto Musashi, the great Japanese samurai, and not just him, but that whole culture. For me, crystallized in the book The Hagakure, not written by him, but describing the philosophy and the mindset of the samurai. And of course, his own book, The Book of Five Rings. And the last one I'm going to bring up today is the teacher Pema Chodron. So Pema Chodron, I find her to be an amazing teacher, and I just want to encourage you to discover Pema Chodron. So, and for me, the book that had the greatest influence on me was the book, The Wisdom of No Escape. So the wisdom is hanging in with what is. And so when we study our teachers and really begin to live through them and allow them to live through us, we actually end up focused in a way that brings a reality that's technicolor into our life. And then we become the masters of our own emotion. So let us know who's on your mountain of teachers. Please like these videos. Please join this circle. Let other people know about it. I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. In living with these teachers, their essence lives in your voice, lives in your body, and lives in your very, very essence of being. So I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, in becoming the masters of our emotions, we begin to live our life as though it were an oath. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste.